Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Tuesday, September the 11th. We have a 13-game slate, at least as of now when I'm recording this video, Monday night at 8 o'clock. The game on Monday got postponed between the Nats-Phillies because of the field. That was pretty tilting. Just to let you guys know, I had a lot of Philly stacks yesterday, especially on FanDuel. They were just so cheap. I think I had like Philly stacks in nearly almost every single lineup I made. And that game got postponed because of the field, because over the weekend the Phillies didn't put the tarp on the field when it rained. Honestly, kind of stupid. I mean, we got the news at like 6:40 that there was a chance the game could get postponed, but I just kind of rolled with it. I figured they could figure it out, but obviously they did not. The game got postponed. Pretty annoying. But yeah, speaking of that game, right now on DraftKings it says that players from the Nats-Phillies game will not receive fantasy points. I'd imagine that's the game that was supposed to be played, so Pivetta-Rourke was supposed to be the matchup for Tuesday, but since the game got postponed on Monday, that game might be played later tonight. I don't really know. I really didn't have interest in either guy just to begin with anyway, so we'll kind of try and keep that game out just as of now. If the game gets put back into the slate or if the games get rescheduled to where there's a doubleheader or something, maybe we can consider those guys, but they weren't really on my radar anyway. But yeah, we'll talk about the pitchers for today. Got 3 studs over 10K, Foltynewicz, DeGrom, and Chris Sale. Chris Sale's definitely a guy we're going to need to talk about. He's not going to be able to be played today. We'll get to him, though, when we get there. We'll talk about the mid-tier plays, if there's any mid-tier plays we like, if there's value plays. Be sure to touch on those. Also, we'll go over some stacks I like on the slate, some BVP plays. But do want to let you guys know before we get started, if you want to check out my Week 1 lineup review for NFL, I did do a review of all my lineups I made on DraftKings. I did upload that video Monday, so if you want to check that out, I would really appreciate it. Especially if you have interest in figuring out who I was on during the NFL week. You can check that video out. My NFL video, my Week 2 picks, my Week 2 DraftKings picks should be coming out Tuesday, so by the time you're watching this, my Week 2 DraftKings picks video might already be out. Make sure you check that out as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at pitcher today. Chris Sale, just want to mention here, we're not going to be able to play Chris Sale today. We look at the news and notes. Chris Sale's not going to pitch. He's going to be on a really hard pitch count here. He's only expected to throw 2 innings, I believe, is what they've got at him. As you can see here in the latest player news, Sale will serve as Boston's opener against Toronto on Tuesday. He will be limited to 2 innings or 40 pitches. So obviously, we're not going to pay $13,600 for Chris Sale when he's only going to throw 2 innings or 40 pitches. Just want to mention that. Don't play Chris Sale today, guys. Let all the other fish play him, I guess. Jacob DeGrom, though, a guy we can definitely play here. 13-5 against the Marlins. Was going to be on DeGrom yesterday. That game got postponed Monday. Going back to the well, don't mind playing DeGrom again today, at least on this slate where there aren't many studs I like. Foltynewicz is really the only other stud. He could definitely be played here against the Giants, but I feel like DeGrom just might have more upside, just is a safer play in general. DeGrom should absolutely mow down this Marlins lineup. The Marlins are going to be playing a doubleheader, I believe, so this lineup could be even worse than it already is, since they're playing a doubleheader. DeGrom can easily get 40 DraftKings points in this spot, and I would not be surprised at all. Had a lot of interest in him on Monday. Game got postponed. He's pitching today on Tuesday. Might as well go back to the well, especially with this slate not being a great pitching slate, at least up top. Since we've got Sale going to be on a pitch count, Foltynewicz a good play, but really besides Foltynewicz, there's no other studs I like. So I'm going to lock in DeGrom at 13-5. You could play Foltynewicz today. I will definitely have some lineups with Foltynewicz. But my one favorite pitcher on this slate, if I'm paying up, it's for sure DeGrom at 13-5. The mid-tier today, not really interested in a lot of mid-tier plays. Like Mike Fiers, he has a good matchup against the Orioles, but he's expensive. He's 9,400. He's on the road in Camden Yards. I think we can definitely shy away from Fiers. I would much rather just try and find the salary and get up to Foltynewicz at 11-2. A lot of these mid-tier plays like Musgrove, Glasnow, I think these guys carry some risk. Bieber, Quintana, I think all these guys carry risk, and I'm not sure if the upside's really there for these guys. You've got Zach Greinke, who's way underpriced at 8K, but Greinke is pitching in Coors today. I don't really know if I want to play Greinke in Coors, but he's cheap, way cheaper than he should be at 8K. He could be an option. But I think today at pitching, it's going to be you go up top for either DeGrom, Foltynewicz, or you look for some value, or you pair DeGrom with the value play, pair Foltynewicz with a value play, or you just go straight value. Because there is definitely value at pitcher that I like today. We'll start off with Andrew Suarez. I think he's a good option here. At 6,900 at home Against the Braves, I'm always going to consider Andrew Suarez when he's at home, just because pitching in AT&T Park, great pitcher's park. A lot of these Giants pitchers do really well in AT&T just because it's such a good park. If we look at Suarez's home and road splits when it comes to DraftKings scoring, at home this year, 17 DraftKings points he has averaged. On the road, just 9 DK points. He's already pitched against the Braves once this year. Got the win, 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts. Did pitch a shutout, 23 DraftKings points when Suarez faced the Braves earlier this year. Definitely like him as a cheap option you could consider is 6,900. Brad Keller has a matchup against a White Sox team that we know strikes out a ton. Brad Keller could be a guy you look at. Dylan Covey is expected to pitch for the White Sox today, and he has a matchup against the Royals. Definitely like that matchup there. Covey, though, is coming off I don't think he's coming off the DL, but he's going to be making a start. He's been pitching from the bullpen, so I'm not sure if Covey's really going to throw like 90 to 100 pitches, because if we do look at his game log, I know he's been pitching like 40, 30 pitches. He's been pitching from the bullpen. So I guess you could say that Covey's somewhat of a question mark today. Like his game against the Angels, obviously he was probably pitching from the bullpen there. Only threw 19 pitches. Against the Tigers, came in and threw 25 pitches. Against Boston, I'm not sure if he started that game, but he did throw 58 pitches in that game. I believe the last game he started was against the Royals, which was about a month ago, August 18th. He threw 102 pitches that game. Then when Kopech came into the rotation, that's when Covey got sent down to the bullpen, or got demoted to the bullpen. Kopech's obviously on the DL now, so Covey's back in the rotation and he's going to be starting. If he's not going to be on a pitch count, if they're going to let Covey throw 90 to 100 pitches, definitely have interest in him as a cheap option. Marco Gonzalez is by far my favorite cheap option, but this is definitely a guy we do have some questions about. We're going to have to figure out throughout the day. Is Marco Gonzalez going to be on a pitch count today? Is something we do need to take note of, because he's coming off the DL as well. His last start was 3 weeks ago against Houston on August 22nd. And then after that start, he went on the DL. He's making a start back from the DL 3 weeks later. Obviously, it's a great matchup here for Gonzalez. He's dirt cheap at 5,400. It's a good pitcher's park, but if Gonzalez is going to be like on a 60, 70 pitch count limit, I don't think I can play him. Honestly, if he's limited to 80 pitches, I might just play Marco Gonzalez even with the 80 pitch limit. He's against the Padres. He's this cheap. Gonzalez could easily go out and hit value in 80 pitches against the Padres. So I like Gonzalez here. If he's not on a pitch count, then I think he's a great play. At 5,400 against the Padres, he's another value option you could consider. So there's definitely value. You got Keller, you got Covey, you got Suarez down here that are cheap options you could consider. Those are definitely guys I'm going to have some exposure to today if I'm looking for cheap value plays at pitcher, which I have a feeling I will be, since I'm going to want plenty of DeGrom today, and I'm going to want plenty of Fultonevich. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the bats. We'll start off at second base. Really like the Red Sox today. They've got some value in their lineup, so Ian Kinsler at 4,300 versus Baruki. I definitely want some Red Sox today. I mentioned that. They just have such a good lineup. 5.5 implied run total for them versus Baruki. I like a lot of the righties here. Mookie, JD. If Steve Pearce is in the lineup, we could play him. You got Bogarts, Kinsler, Nunez. Nunez being a guy I really like at 4,300. Hits lefties pretty well. Batting in the middle of that Red Sox lineup that's probably going to score plenty of runs today. Like him as a value option. Like Nunez as well. Nunez should be either batting right behind him or right in front of him in the lineup order. Hopefully we get like Nunez batting 5th and Kinsler batting 6th. Like that little mini stack there, especially if we get like Steve Pearce batting 4th, and you could do that 4, 5, 6 mini stack from the Red Sox. Obviously you can full stack the Red Sox as well. Get Mookie in there, get JD in there. These guys are just such good hitters. They're facing a pitcher I don't really believe in. Red Sox probably easily my favorite stack on this slate with a 5.5 implied run total. Like Nunez and Kinsler as cheap options from that lineup. Then my last play is Ryan Braun. Just love Ryan Braun when he's facing the lefty. The guy's always cheaper than he should be because he's not an everyday player. He really only plays when the Brewers are facing a lefty. They're going to be facing a lefty today, facing Quintana. And I know Ryan Braun's homered a couple times off Quintana for those interested in BVP. Doesn't show BVP with at least a 10 at-bat sample for Braun. But I know there was one game earlier this year against Quintana where he homered twice off of him. Braun just mashes lefties, hits lefties really well, hits lefties for power. Braun has a ton of power. Easily could take Quintana deep here. 4,100, love Ryan Braun today, especially as a one-off. Don't know if I'll be stacking the Brewers today, but I might play a little 2 or 3 man stack with like Aguilar, Braun, Scope, or Aguilar, Braun, Perez if Perez is in the lineup, if he's batting 5th. Just definitely like some of these Brewers plays, especially the righties versus Quintana. And obviously Ryan Braun, one of my favorite options there. But yeah, these are my 5 plays for tonight's 13-game slate. Jacob deGrom, Marco Gonzalez, Ian Kinsler, Eduardo Nunez, and Ryan Braun. We'll quickly go over some stacks and BVP plays on this slate before we do get out of here. So stacks, I really like the Red Sox, 5.5 implied run total versus Baruki. Definitely one of my favorite stacks. I think you can look to Coors Field today, especially the Diamondback side. Don't know if I'll be on the Rockies versus Zach Greinke, but I do like some D-backs versus Sindentella, like John Jay leading off at 4,300, Escobar at 4,800, Goldschmidt, Peralta. These guys are good plays today if you can fit them in. Like the D-backs, like the Brewers, some of the Brewers one-offs, or some of the Brewers righties you could play as one-offs. Aguilar, Braun, Scope, maybe even Perez. Don't mind going there. But the Red Sox are the main target for me. A's maybe against Alex Cobb. They have a 5.3 implied run total in Camden Yards, a good hitter's park. But these A's are pretty expensive. Even like the value plays we've targeted in the past are expensive now, like Lorano leading off is 4,300, kind of expensive. He's kind of priced up. Biscotti is at 4,800. Olson's 4,600. Chris Davis, 5,400. Going to be somewhat hard to fit A's in with the expensive pitching, but if you go with like 2 cheap pitchers, if you go Gonzalez, Suarez, you could probably stack the Red Sox and the A's, and I'm sure I'll be doing that in at least 1 or 2 lineups. So those are the stacks I like. Quickly going over BVP plays. Just cover the ones with about a 20 at-bat sample since there are a lot of them here. Duba Herrera, 15 for 37, home run off of Tanner Roark. Kingers Morales, 11 for 38, 3 home runs off of Chris Sale. Mike Moustakas, 12 for 46, 3 home runs versus Quintana. Trevor Story, 10 for 32, 5 home runs versus Zach Greinke. And Cargo, 16 for 51, 5 home runs versus Zach Greinke as well. Cargo and Story have both hit Greinke well, homered 5 times off of him. Surprisingly, some of these Giants have hit Fultonevich well. Belt, 6 for 15, 3 home runs. Crawford, 8 for 15, 3 home runs. And Nick Hundley, 5 for 12 with a home run. But yeah, that's it for BVP. That's it for this 13-game slate, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like before you get out of here. Would really appreciate it. If you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. And if you do have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or you can leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And good luck tonight on this 13-game slate. Peace.